All right, get your house in order. I've said this before. I'm going to talk to you about a couple predictions I made. I'm going to remind you of this because they were on tape well before these things happen. Those of you who've been with me, you already know what these are. I'm also going to tell you that I tell you things that I feel are coming, and I just tune into, like you can, what that is. You can't always be specific. Now, some people have that talent. They can be very specific. But I pick up on the energy fields that are happening on the planet in different areas, and I have visions, all right? I want to share something with you and why you need to get your house in order and what that actually means, because we do have what we refer to as disclosure. But I'm going to explain exactly how that's happening and how we've got some major dudes out there, and I'm going to name them, who are actually doing that, have been. Are we actually paying attention? Let's talk about disclosure. Yeah, get your house in order because it's pretty cool. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube. Here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. Decided I'd do my little breakfast at Tiffany's hat. I hope you'll subscribe, and I have to share some things with you that I'm getting, messages, and I just shared with you in the last video, hopefully you watched that. What they don't want you to know is that they are feeding us addictive everything. Those in power who don't have others' best interests in mind, it's not always just people in money or government or whatever. It's those who are in ego, low frequency, are thinking as individuals separated from the world. They judge other people. They judge people according to skin color, religion, education, all kinds of things. That's a low frequency. They want the general public to stay in the lower frequency, because if they go beyond that, they become empowered. So they fuel the system because they're addicted to negativity. They're addicted to power, stuff, money, prestige. They have their own addiction. They're no different than anybody else. They just act on the lower frequency addiction. All right, so go watch that video because I want you to understand what's going on right now. This is going to be very relevant to my subject today. I'm going to talk about some major dudes who are telling things right now because disclosure is happening. Why do you need to get your house in order? I'll explain in just a moment. Before I do, I hope not only will you subscribe, if you're an entrepreneur and it's time for you to make a change in this world, you don't have any more time. Get your house in order. Free videos, free webinars. We're creating planet conscious businesses. You don't have to have any background, experience, nothing. You're either a change maker or you're a consumer of the existing world. So you fuel it and you complain and it's always somebody else's problem. Well, here's what other people are saying right now that I want to share with you. Disclosure has been happening, and it's not the government and those who are sitting there addicted to these conspiracy theories and stuff. Somebody told me Edgar Cayce was in the dark side, and of course Oprah, and I'm like, please, can we get past that? I'm going to tell you what's happening, and you need to start listening to this. Okay, you saw me do a video on Barber, who is a different kind of whistleblower. I don't even like that name because I think those guys are full of crap. Sorry, they are. They're giving misinformation. That's all part of the system. Because guess what? They all disagree. If they're all getting the same source information, they're whistleblowers, how come they're arguing with each other? Because they're on low frequency ego, addicted to power, especially Greer. I mean, all you have to listen for 5 seconds and you'll say, these people don't have our best interests in mind. Barber does. He goes into a space of love, compassion, he's connecting to something different, and he's going into communication, not to pull them in so they can shoot them down, but UAPs that they're communicating with and getting information. You can do this too. This is disclosure. It's a different type of disclosure. It's a, we don't care what other people think, or what, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Now guess who's following suit? If you saw the Jake Barber story about him actually showing a video of a UAP retrieval, whether you think that's real or not, I believe it. He had some radiation damage, and Dr. Garry Nolan, who is a Stanford professor and UFO researcher, examined him. He's a doctor. Said this guy's got some radiation, serious stuff going on. Him and the people that were with him around these UAPs. Okay? What does that mean? This is physical proof that they have been in contact. Now, while Garry Nolan, Dr. Garry Nolan, who's a very straight, uptight guy, you know, he's zipped up, is now starting to talk, and he's going into disclosure. So there are people like Jake Barber stepping out. Why? He has nothing to lose, because if he doesn't speak up, somebody's going to take him out, right? So he figures he might as well at least speak up. He has a better chance of survival that way about what's really going on. Well, Garry Nolan, who examined these guys, who got exposed to UAPs, you know, we used to say UFOs, UAPs, admitted that he was visited by other beings when he was a kid. He finally came out and said it. When he was a kid in bed, these beings came and visited him. I don't know if he was on the ship, the mothership, or not. He's putting his whole reputation on the line by saying this stuff. That's the disclosure that's happening right now. Now, it's already happening, and I want you to think about this. We're going to talk about getting your house in order because it's accelerating. People like Dean Radin, who is a parapsychology researcher, very serious guy, he openly says non-human beings. He believes it's happening, and he's got quite a bit of research that supports that they are here and visiting. All of them believe that these visitors, or what they've seen, is not of a negative nature. The people that truly are studying this and in direct contact have all said these beings are not negative. And I want you to think about this. If they were, we wouldn't be sitting here talking right now, okay? Why would they allow us to continue to destroy the planet? Because we are the most destructive species. Now, I'm going to also share something with you. I told you before that one of my friends worked on a NASA project. She worked for NASA. She had high security, you know, undercover stuff going on. And I said to her, I know you can't tell me stuff, but I have one question. And she says, oh, yeah, go ahead. I'll answer what I can. I said, have any of the astronauts seen alien craft? And she says, oh yeah. I was going to ask something really technical. Oh yeah, all of them. I said, what, all of them? She says, yeah, all of them. They just don't talk about it, but now they are. Edgar Mitchell, Gordon Cooper, Buzz Aldrin, Story Musgrave, James McDivitt, Major General Pavel Popovich, Leroy Chow, all talk about it. They've seen it, they're openly talking, which means somebody somewhere is allowing them to talk about it. That means scientists like Garry Nolan, who's at Stanford, come on, he's talking about it. The door has opened for these discussions by these people on super high credible. Now, here's what I shared with you before. You guys, if you know, I actually predicted, gave a vision of something big coming. I don't have details. That's not how I work. Prior to COVID, I told you guys to get your house in order. I think that's one of the last times I used that. The other thing is I told you that I had a very detailed vision of the current administration of the Democratic Party at the time. It was Christmas time, and they were all very silent and depressed. They were leaving. All of them were leaving. And that's when everybody thought Harris was going to come in, and I said, I'm not taking sides. I really don't give a crap. I think everything happens exactly the way it's supposed to. But I said, it wasn't they were celebrating her and not him. Everybody's leaving. It was very dark, depressed, and it was the White House, and there was a Christmas tree. So I knew that it was after elections and that they were leaving. I shared that with you. That was actually quite specific. Now I'm telling you, and I've shared this with you before, that there is a disclosure happening that has nothing to do with paperwork or congressional meetings or whistleblowers. They are all part of the play. There are credible people, and I shared this with you before. There are light workers in high places that will step out. I said this at least a year ago. I said, don't worry. They are not talking. They will start talking. Do you remember this video? I've said it a couple times. They'll start talking when it's appropriate, but that we have a lot of firepower. I don't even like firepower. A lot of power in super high places, money, governments, institutions, corporations, who will step out, who you may never guess are part of, let's say, the light movement, are going to step out and make the difference when the shift matters most, and that's now. All right? I talked about Edgar Cayce. He never gave specific years, but he talked about somebody coming into power here. He described Trump to a T, that would be a great disruptor. He would cause global change, and that at the same time, there would be spiritual movement. So that really has taken us into 2025. That's pretty specific, right? So no, he didn't say the year, but he saw somebody coming into power that was going to cause great chaos and disruption and change. I think, here's my opinion, without it, we won't push ourselves for change. People, the general public is addicted. They like to watch their stuff, have their food, and then go take their pills and live in the matrix, right? And so they stay there and they figure, okay, I've got, my retirement fund and I'll go on vacation and golf. That's all going away. And so now we've got these people in power saying, there are other beings. Now, here's what I want to share with you. This is going to be a little mind-blowing for some of you. Because we're humans and we think as dense, separate beings, that's how we're programmed, it's very difficult for us to imagine that there is no separation of anything, and that those in higher frequencies and dimensions don't exist as one thing. So they can shift into different beings. They can be, let's just say, entities. So when we see people that have been abducted on craft, that's part of agreement too, but as human beings, we react differently. So even though I am of a non-physical form, I gotta admit, if something walked into the room right now, I'd be a little freaked out. So even though I am that, and as a human being, I'm still in that fear-based separation, feared, and we are conditioned to fear anything outside of the physical world. All right? We have been programmed to think it's all negative. But I'll give you an example. Chris Bledsoe, if you know who he is, if you don't, you need to look him up. He's probably one of the only, there's one other guy. One of the only super credible people that have come in contact with, extraterrestrial beings and has contact. He's another disclosure conduit, let's just say, a disclosure agent. And to great dissatisfaction to him and his family, now they're being believed. The timing is right. We're believing these people. Now, he's just a regular guy, so you're going to see people in high places, corporations, government, scientists, everybody's stepping out and saying, okay, so yeah, I was on a craft. Or, oh yeah, I've seen craft. And by the way, the great majority of people who study all that stuff are admitting that they have seen craft. Most of them when they're young. Some of them saying that they believe possibly they were on craft, or they've seen beings, or have been visited. Now, Chris Bledsoe, who was abducted along with his son, 4 hours missing time, and the whole group of fishermen friends that they went down to this river, I think there was 5 or 6 of them, you'll have to look that up, all saw the craft. And then it just went crazy after that. He can call in orbs, all right? Chris Bledsoe can call in orbs. Now, he was visited by what he calls the Golden Lady or whatever. She's sort of like a Mother Mary figure. Now, let me share something about that. When you are in a non-physical state, you are energy that can transform into any form. I believe what we see is showing itself in whatever form that we need to see sometimes. So Chris Bledsoe was very comfortable with this beautiful golden lady who comes to him and gives him predictions. One that's happening in around April 2026. More disclosure is going to happen then. A new knowledge is going to come into play. Now, I believe because they are in that pure form of creation that we don't understand, we think it's weird, that even our extraterrestrial friends, neighbors, can transform into anything that maybe we like to see that isn't going to freak us out. So that's why some of them show up as beautiful, blonde, tall people with blue eyes. Others show up as something else. Some of them show up as exactly what they are. Because they don't give a crap. But I want you to know that everything is one, and read my book. This is more relevant than anything. If you don't even read the book and you read the summary in the beginning, I think it's 3 or 4 pages long. I don't know, I haven't read it. I was told one of the most powerful things, and this is coming, so true, even more so now. In my super awakened state, I was told everything is one thing happening, and there is no such thing as time. Everything is one thing happening. It's not separate things happening simultaneously. It's one thing happening. You and I and the tree and the planets and the galaxies and the universes and all the crazy stuff that we don't see is all one thing happening. But because we are in a low dense form, we need to separate it, compartmentalize it, and say, this is my experience and that's yours. Why are we doing this? So that we can know it. I just asked why. I said, why? Don't you just, why? Right? Well, because I can't know that unless I have something that contrasts that experience. And we are the lowest form of contrast. We're already destroying ourselves, and we're on the brink of doing it indefinitely. But you are energy, so you cannot be created nor destroyed. You have always existed. This is just one form. We have an opportunity now. Start paying attention to disclosure. Quit naming people bad. Edgar Cayce is not an evil person. Listen to his words. That is somebody telling you that because they want you to turn on lightworkers. So they're going to tell you some crazy ass story that a lightworker is of the dark side. Listen to what people say. You are anything you want to be. You are transformative into anything. You are playing out a role, so don't forget, we came here to play the play. The players can change, the storyline can change, the ending can change. Remember I told you I saw The Exorcist way back when? It was the second one or third, and Richard Burton was in it. And I saw it right when it came out, and Richard Burton fell into some huge hole and died. Somebody said, no, he didn't. Then saw it like a couple weeks later. I said, I saw the movie, I know. The audience didn't like to see Richard Burton die, because it's Richard Burton. Nobody wants to see Richard Burton die. So what did they do? They shot several different endings. I don't know if they still do this. Probably do. They shoot different endings and they tested it. They used to test it in the theaters. And if the audience there was a negative reaction, they would pick a different ending. That's what we're doing. We can pick a different ending. Every single ending exists. So don't be worrying about them out there. The disclosure is happening, and credible people are now telling us, astronauts, scientists, doctors, stepping out and saying, this is real, this isn't speculation, this isn't a conspiracy, I've experienced it firsthand. Disclosure, that's disclosure. Now, why do I say get your house in order? Because it is shifting the planet, and you will see us living a simpler lifestyle, and it's good. You will see us letting go of the things that stress us out, that you say, oh, but I have to give up all these things. You will give up nothing. We will live in a world that values the existing things, that creates more beautiful things that we use and are grateful for, the things that sustain us. Eventually, we won't need even that much. We have almost, 8 billion people on the planet. The planet cannot feed all those people if we keep on this pace and we keep destroying what we're creating. We have to shift over. Get your house in order means everything in it needs to clean up. Go in my description. You'll see what I use. You'll see who I support, and you're going to stop using the plastic. All right? I even have a 20% off down there in the tabletop, the filters that I have for the water. If you saw my video, I about fell off my chair when I saw all the things in our water system that I was drinking, even because I was boiling water and putting it in for my coffee. I don't even do that anymore. And I was getting water, spring water. I don't even do that. I filter everything out now. Get your house in order. Stop using chemicals. Don't even give your pets that water, right? Filter it. Sorry, we've poisoned ourselves. Stop using plastic any chance you get. Stop using toxic chemicals. Stop putting crap on your skin. That's your biggest organ, and we wonder why we're getting cancer. Stop the negative thinking, the separation, the finger pointing, the conspiracy theories. We're awakened, but by the way, they're bad. You're not awakened. You're telling yourself a story. We all learn. We're all learning. We all have an aspect of human in us that's going to be there till we leave here. It's part of it. You don't get to experience what we're experiencing here unless that's there. So you can be in an awakened state, you can be in the penthouse, but you'll still be a human being. You'll still experience the sadness, the loss. You will never struggle again. You may suffer. Some of you have told me you have illness. Get your house in order. You can avoid that too. There are sources from that, okay? Quit labeling yourself ADD, PTSD. Yes, you've been through some stuff. You don't have to label it. You're claiming a title. That's part of the programming and the addiction. You're addicted to an identity of a low-frequency material world. Get your house in order. Clean it all out. Clean it out. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I just know all things are possible, and I am part of absolutely everything. Every thought, every creation, every frequency, I'm it. And so are you. And I am playing this out. I don't have to understand it. If you guys read my book, the knowing is you stop asking questions. Get your house in order. Disclosure's going to accelerate. When we had the drones, we had orbs showing up. Those are real. That's another being, okay? checking us out. All right? They're checking out some of our weapons and things. They've just disabled them. They're not going to let us blow ourselves up, not because they care so much about us, because we're the idiots doing it. They care about the effect it's having on absolutely everything because they serve others. The ones that care about that, they're serving others, and they are here. And they are not going to land on the way. Why don't they just land? Why? We're already shooting them out of the sky. Why would they do that? They don't care. And by the way, there is a directive that says we have chosen this play. We get to play it out. They're not supposed to interfere with it, because if I want to go to, hell in a handbasket, I get to do that. And if you want to judge it, talk to the hand. Shut your pie hole. We're done with that. You know what this is. So get your house in order. I hope this makes sense. We've gone to a different level. I'm teaching this in my class. You guys are in Breakthrough Fear. I'm teaching this. How do you access that? You stop thinking of yourself as a human being. You actually connect to the energy that you are. So I used to take you out into that energy field, and now we just are it. We are it because I am not this human body. However, I am what animates it, but it's still a part of me. There's that. This energy field is here. We got to go into a completely different level of thinking. No more separation. They're going to save us. They're going to destroy us. Shut your pie hole. Get your house in order. No more blame, separation, judgment. No more separation. Start respecting everything and everyone around you for whatever choices they make, but be the change maker. Digital Explorers, we're being the change maker. So we, instead of complaining and go, oh, okay, I'm going to respect you. We go, no, okay, I respect you as a being, and your choices aren't good. Just like them, they're not going to allow us to take ourselves out. We're not going to allow that to take us out either. So we're going to be the creators of a new world so that other people will have options, positive options. All right? So we are not going to allow that to continue on, because the light workers, including all these guys, wow, that's just a little bit of what's going on out there, are stepping out and putting their neck on the line and admitting things, because now nobody thinks they're crazy anymore. You're not crazy. You and I can make a difference, and you have to get your house in order. And that means, how are you earning? How are you earning? That's why I created digitalexplorers.net. What are you purchasing? That's why I have a store down in my description and all kinds of things that I use that do not include toxins, plastic, and they support the businesses who are giving those positive options. We don't have any more time because it doesn't exist. And you and I are in the most glorious time, and it's going to test us. And when you stick your neck out to make some changes, because you want to be the change maker in the light instead of the person in the basement, because they all poop on each other. They do. They poop in their own nest. We're not doing that. So get ready. It's already happening. Disclosure is happening. It's not coming from DC. What do I care? Who cares who shot JFK? We already know. We already know. Let's move forward. It's messed up. Let's not allow this to continue to happen, but we can't unless we clean up our own house. Does this make sense? I got more good stuff to show you. I found an Edgar Cayce book. I'm going to start going through that to see what I can find. He's only projecting what we're doing here. That's why it can change. He's projected what he saw at that moment. And if we changed it, the predictions change. And you and I, we're the predictors. You don't need somebody else to tell you some stuff. That's great. I don't know why you need that. You are a creator. You're all gods. These things you should do and more. Get out of this limiting thinking. That's insanity, which is pretty much what the human species is. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Watch, more and more major dudes and dudettes are going to step out and start to disclose some very exciting things. I think so. Namaste.